David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, the breaking news, the Supreme Court striking down President Trump's tariffs, the president responding tonight, and the Northeast bracing for a major storm now, this nor'easter moving in. First tonight, the nation's highest court saying President Trump exceeded his authority when it comes to his tariffs. President Trump tonight launching a scathing attack on the justices, saying he's ashamed of some of them, calling them fools and disloyal. Economists say these tariffs are essentially a tax on Americans, on businesses buying the goods from overseas, and then much of that cost passed on to consumers. The court tonight saying the power of taxation belongs to Congress. Tonight, the president and what he says he now plans to do. Also tonight, this nor'easter moving in, the new forecast just in tonight, bringing a half foot of snow or more to many places, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. This goes right up into Boston and New England. Lee Goldberg standing by to time this out. Tonight, hear the royal fallout, the former Prince Andrew and his arrest, connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Tonight, hear new developments where police are searching now. Here in the U.S., the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. And tonight, why investigators now say they are open to the possibility that that masked suspect at her front door might have had an accomplice. Aaron Katersky standing by with what he's learned. The U.S. military buildup and President Trump tonight now acknowledging he is considering a possible limited U.S. military strike on Iran. And ABC News has now learned a limited number of American troops may be moved out of their bases in the region. Ian Pannell standing by with late reporting here. Back home tonight, the tributes pouring in for actor Eric Dane. The Grey's Anatomy star later in Euphoria, his heroic battle against ALS. What he told Diane Sawyer not long after his diagnosis, his words even more moving tonight, his final hope. There are dramatic images coming in tonight, a man ramming into a power facility. Police tonight treating this as an act of terrorism. News tonight on the flu in this country and the alarming new numbers involving the measles in the U.S. Nearly 1,000 cases, far more than what they normally see in an entire year. And on this Friday night here, we celebrate the U.S. men's hockey team on their way now for a gold medal showdown against Canada. We'll go right to Italy right here.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the Supreme Court striking down President Trump's tariffs. The president and his scathing response right here tonight. The nation's highest court saying the president exceeded his authority when it comes to most of his tariffs. The president railing against the justices tonight, calling the decision a disgrace and ridiculous, saying he's ashamed of some of the justices, calling them fools and, quote, disloyal. Economists say these tariffs on other countries end up being a tax on Americans, that American businesses buying those overseas products pay the higher costs because of the tariffs, and then that cost is passed on to the American consumer. Well, tonight, the president vows to work around the court's ruling. Also, what happens to the more than $140 billion collected in tariffs? Will that money be refunded? And the president, who will come face to face with the justices at the State of the Union Tuesday night, he said today that he could care less if they show up. Rachel Scott from the White House tonight.
Tonight, the highest court in the land striking at the heart of President Trump's economic agenda, declaring most of his sweeping tariffs illegal, a massive setback for the White House. The 6-3 decision had the court's liberal justices joining with 3 staunch conservatives, Chief Justice John Roberts and 2 justices appointed by President Trump himself, Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country.
A furious Trump calling the justices fools and lapdogs, unpatriotic and disloyal, heaping scorn on Justices Gorsuch and Barrett.
I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth, the 2 of them.
The tariffs, launched with great fanfare, formed the backbone of the president's economic plans and a weapon in his foreign policy. He imposed them by invoking emergency powers. But the High Court found the president exceeded his authority, saying only Congress has the power to impose taxes. Justice John Roberts writing, the president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. In light of the breadth, history, and constitutional context of that asserted authority, he must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it. Economists say tariffs on imports are actually taxes on American businesses who pass the cost to consumers by raising prices. Today, Justice Gorsuch writing, "Most major decisions affecting the rights and responsibilities of the American people, including the duty to pay taxes and tariffs, are funneled through the legislative process for a reason." The president fuming the court is trying to tie his hands, complaining he doesn't see why he can't use tariffs in trade negotiations with other countries.
I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee.
But economists with that warning. Tariffs take money away from American businesses, who then raise prices on consumers. That money, some $142 billion, pumped into the Treasury Department. The big question tonight, what happens to it now? In a dissenting opinion, Justice Brett Kavanaugh writing, the court says nothing today about whether, and if so how, the government should go about returning the billions of dollars that it has collected from importers. But that process is likely to be a mess.
Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years.
The president says he now plans to use other executive powers and existing laws to get around the court's decision and reinstate some of his tariffs. But he says he's not planning to go to Congress.
Tonight, President Trump says he will sign an executive order to impose a new 10% tariff on America's trading partners. But under the law, that can only last for 150 days. Tonight, the Supreme Court making it clear the president's power does, in fact, have limits. As for the justices, they are expected to be seated right in front of the president during Tuesday's State of the Union address. And tonight, the president saying he couldn't care less if they come, David.
And of course, we'll carry that State of the Union right here live on ABC. Rachel, you'll be right there with me. Thank you. We are tracking this major nor'easter moving in tonight. Yet another winter storm set to hit New York City and much of the Northeast, bringing a half foot of snow and more in some places. This will stretch from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York City, right up to Boston. Let's get right to WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, who's been tracking these models all week. What do they show tonight, Lee?
Well, David, there's been a major forecast development tonight. Everything aligning the atmosphere for a major East Coast snowstorm come Sunday into Monday. Winter storm watches are now out Baltimore, New York, all the way to southern New England from Sunday morning all the way to Monday afternoon. Let's time it. The storm starts to develop off the mid-Atlantic as we go into the morning hours on Sunday. Heavy rain in Virginia, but snow breaking out. D.C., Baltimore, Philly. Lighter snows and rain mixed in the New York City area, but getting steadier Sunday afternoon. The storm rapidly intensifies into Sunday night. That's when this really hits a high gear with heavy snow bands, gusty winds, coastal flooding and beach erosion, blizzard conditions possible from Long Island all the way up to Cape Cod. The amounts, a widespread swath now of 6 to 12 inch snows up the I-95 corridor, could even be a little bit more. A lot of volatility with this, so keep in touch with us for snow totals over the weekend. David?
We'll stay tuned all weekend long here, Lee. Thank you. Tonight, the royal fallout involving former Prince Andrew, his arrest connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case, and this evening where police are now searching. James Longman from London.
Tonight, 24 hours after his shock arrest, the criminal investigation into the former Prince Andrew and his relationship with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is now expanding. London's Metropolitan Police announcing it will interview Andrew's bodyguards, both past and present, asking them to consider carefully whether anything they saw or heard during that period of service may be relevant to our ongoing reviews. Officers today scouring Andrew's former home, Royal Lodge, believed to be looking for proof that he passed on confidential information to Epstein when he was serving as Britain's trade envoy. Authorities are also saying they're in contact with US law enforcement to determine whether UK airports were used to traffic young women for sex. Virginia Jeffrey said that as a teenager, she was trafficked to the former prince by Epstein, a claim Andrew has denied.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
She says she met you in 2001. She dined with you. She danced with you. You bought her drinks. You were in Tramp nightclub in London. And she went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Didn't happen.
Andrew ultimately paid Jeffrey a sizable settlement without admitting wrongdoing. She died by suicide last year. British authorities have given no indication his arrest was tied to allegations of sexual misconduct. Regardless, with this image of Andrew leaving British police custody plastered on every front page, no member of the royal family can go out in public without facing embarrassing questions. Today, it was his sister, Princess Anne's turn.
Afternoon, Your Royal Highness. How do you feel about your brother's arrest?
Andrew has admitted maintaining his relationship with Epstein damaged the royal family.
It was not something that was becoming of a member of the royal family, and we try and uphold the highest standards and practices, and I let the side down. Simple as that.
Tonight, the big question here in London: what did the former prince tell his late mother, Queen Elizabeth, or brother Charles about his friendship with Epstein?
The focus has shifted a lot, I think, onto this wider question for the royal family about who knew what. Wider questions which I think are very dangerous for the royal family right now about privilege and about this system that we have of inherited privilege.
Royal scandal is nothing new in Britain, but tonight in London, the impression that Andrew was protected is cutting through.
I think it'll affect the future of the crown. I think they've been protected all their lives, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is only the beginning.
And David, tonight such is the public outcry that the government is considering removing Andrew from the line of succession. He's currently 8th behind Prince Harry's children. David.
James Longman from Buckingham Palace tonight. James, thank you. Back here in the U.S. to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Tonight, investigators are now signaling that they're open to the possibility that that masked suspect at her front door might have had an accomplice. Here's Eric Dane with what he's learned tonight.
Tonight, nearly 3 weeks after Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home in the middle of the night, investigators say the masked man on her doorstep may have had an accomplice, though they're pointing to no new evidence. The sheriff's department saying investigators are not ruling out the possibility that more than one person may be involved.
Sheriff's Department, can you please hold? Is this in regards to the Nancy Guthrie case?
And with hundreds of tips pouring in every day, investigators are now urging the public not to waste their time.
We don't have the capacity to entertain thoughts and theories. That's why the direct questioning comes into play. Do you have viable suspect information?
A tip could break the case open because right now investigators are finding their best leads are coming up empty. Partial DNA recovered from inside the house is still being analyzed. There is no additional video from her home security system and no vehicle of interest. But there are still critical searches through neighborhood cameras, computer servers, and sales records at Walmart, which sells the suspect's backpack.
It's easy to get discouraged because we all want the successful resolution to this case. But privately, the agents and the deputies behind the scenes are working as hard as they can. I guarantee you there's a lot more than we know about that's happening.
Sources tell ABC News Savannah Guthrie and her siblings are aware certain leads have not been panning out, and eventually resources may have to scale back.
We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Savannah has repeatedly pleaded for help from the public, knowing it could be a viewer anywhere in the country who spots something in this video.
This is everybody's grandmother that we're looking for here, and they're horrified by it. So I think the vast majority of people want to do the right thing.
And 20 days on, David, the FBI is still trying to figure out who wrote those ransom notes and whether they were even real, any path that could lead them to Nancy Guthrie. David?
Aaron Katursky from Tucson again tonight. Aaron, we sure do appreciate it. Now to Iran tonight and to the U.S. military buildup in the Middle East. President Trump tonight now acknowledging that he is considering a possible limited U.S. military strike on Iran. So let's get right to Ian Panel in the region. Ian, what have you learned tonight?
Yeah, that's right, David. We've had rumour, we've had leaks, but the president now confirming it. But Iran warning if it is attacked, it'll respond decisively, saying all US bases would be legitimate targets. US officials tonight confirming a limited number of US troops may be moved out of their bases in the region as fears grow of an attack. Hundreds already relocating in preparation for exercises. Meanwhile, new satellite images show the USS Gerald Ford carrier sailing towards the Mediterranean. This is now the most significant military buildup in the region in years. David.
Ian Panel back with us tonight. Ian, thank you. Back here in the U.S., the tributes pouring in tonight for actor Eric Dane, who has died of ALS at the age of 53. The Grey's Anatomy star bravely battled the disease in public. He opened up about his diagnosis with our Diane Sawyer. His words even more moving now. Here's Deborah Roberts.
You see that? Not a drop of sweat. You know why? Because I'm that good. Actor Eric Dane soaring to stardom in his breakout role as the charming, handsome doctor nicknamed McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy.
Is that what you call me now, McSteamy?
Originally cast for just one episode, he stayed for 6 more seasons.
Oh. This is awkward.
Years of other TV and movie roles would follow.
I'm not allowed to form an emotional connection. And I'm an emotional guy. I'm Eric.
But it was just last year, after revealing he was battling ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, that his biggest role would become advocate.
And we're done accepting the status quo.
Raising awareness and money for the fight against the condition.
How are you?
Sitting down with our Diane Sawyer not long after.
I will never forget those 3 letters. It's on me the second I wake up.
It's not a dream.
It's not a dream.
Describing his new life challenges.
I have 1 functioning arm. My dominant side
is your right side.
Yeah, my left side is functioning. My right side is completely stopped working.
And then your left arm is fine?
No, it's going.
Tonight, just 10 months after announcing his diagnosis, Eric Dane has died at the age of 53. His family sharing, he spent his final days surrounded by dear friends, his devoted wife, and his 2 beautiful daughters who were the center of his world. Eric Dane would bravely work through his ALS battle, shooting scenes for the upcoming new season of Euphoria.
I really, at the end of the day, just all I want to do is spend time with my family and work a little bit if I can.
And make sure that you tell them that you love them.
Every day. Every day. They're loved. They know it.
Our thanks to Deborah Roberts and, of course, to Diane for that interview. And by the way, you can see Diane's full interview with actor Eric Dane on Hulu. A brave fight for sure. We continue with the news here and to the U.S. economy. Tonight, the Commerce Department this evening reported the economy slowed at the end of last year, the GDP growing just 1.4% in the 4th quarter of 2025. That was well below expectations. When we come back on this Friday night, the dramatic images coming in now. Tonight, a man ramming into a power facility. Police are now treating this as an act of terrorism and what we've learned. And of course, we celebrate the U.S. men's hockey team tonight, now on their way to this gold medal showdown with Canada. So we'll go right to Italy in a moment here. Don't go away. Tonight, a man ramming his car right into a power facility outside Las Vegas. Authorities treating it as an act of terrorism. Authorities say Dawson Maloney plowed his car through the gates of a substation. Investigators saying it's unclear if he was trying to knock out power or what his motive was. No equipment was damaged. Authorities say he took his life after the crash. They also found explosives and extremist books in his hotel room. When we come back on the broadcast, news on the flu and on measles tonight. And what a game. Now it's the U.S. versus Canada for the gold. And we'll go right to Italy in a moment. To the index tonight, the CDC now reporting 20,000 deaths from flu this season, including 71 pediatric deaths. Flu activity remains elevated in this country. Meantime, measles cases in the U.S. nearing 1,000 now across 26 states. A significant outbreak in South Carolina. That state alone reporting 962 cases since October. The cases so far this year outpacing the number the U.S. typically sees in a full year. When we come back tonight, the game late today, the U.S. men's hockey team winning. They will now go for gold against Canada. Our reporter standing by in Italy in a moment.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Nervive Nerve Relief. Feel alive with Nervive.
Finally tonight here, the U.S. men's hockey team winning late today, which of course means they now go for gold against Canada. Marcus Moore is in Italy for us. Marcus.
David, a thrilling night here in Italy for Team USA. The men's hockey team beating Slovakia. They will now face off against their old Olympic rival, Canada, for gold on Sunday. U.S. skier Alex Ferreira winning gold in the freestyle halfpipe competition, and fellow U.S. skier Nick Gopper suffering a heart-stopping fall during the event, attempting a trick no free skier has ever landed in men's halfpipe competition, afterwards walking off and waving to the crowd. And David, tonight we've learned who will be the flag bearers for Team USA during the closing closing ceremony. 2 gold medal winners, ice dancer Evan Bates and women's hockey player Hillary Knight. She made history this Olympics with that record-breaking 15th gold. And that ceremony could be extra special as Team USA has already matched their record for gold medals during the Winter Games with 10. And as we get down to the final days, David, there's hope they can set a new record.
Let's hope so, Marcus. Our thanks to you. We'll be cheering on the men's hockey team. And, of course, I'll see you later tonight for an all-new 2020, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here with Deborah Roberts. Until then, have a good evening. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.